So I've had a change of plan recently. The final goal is still to get into professional wrestling. However, the circumstances have changed. The original plan was for me to live and work in Edinburgh, where I just finished up at the University of Edinburgh in about May. Since then, I'd been looking for a job there so that I could work and go to Glasgow at the weekends to train with Glasgow Pro Wrestling Asylum. So I've been looking for a job from about May, and I eventually got one working nights in a supermarket, which I started in August. However, because my training wasn't meant to start until mid-October, I found it incredibly difficult to use that as motivation to get me to stay in this job. Aside from working nights, which was horrible, I wasn't seeing a lot of my friends, my living situation wasn't great, and I wasn't actually really saving any money. So the plan has changed. I've come home to Belfast, where I intend to get a job and save money at home. At first, when I was deciding this, I had looked at Pro Wrestling Ulster, who are starting out there. They've sort of revamped their training facility, and they recently brought in their first class of recruits, and I thought that would be brilliant, but kind of living in a hostile situation where my parents don't really know that this is my plan. They thought pro wrestling was something I had grown out of when I was a kid. And yes, it's very easy to say, oh, why don't you just tell them? Why don't you just get it off your chest? But in reality, they won't understand, and in fact, it'll make things more difficult for me, probably. So the Pro Wrestling Ulster idea has been put on hold. They might have a new class of beginners in the new year. However, if I manage to save money, that then opens up two possibilities for the future. One is that I could return to Edinburgh and continue with the plan that I had, but it would have to be in a better living situation and with a better job. The second plan is that my girlfriend returns from the Caribbean, where she's been on placement, and then she wants to move to Bristol. Now, there are pros and cons to both of these ideas. I know for a fact that going back to Edinburgh, I'll be surrounded by my close friends who, a lot of them are in the same kind of situation that I'm in. None of them are into pro wrestling or anything, but they do have sort of more unconventional goals coming out of university. That was actually originally the plan, for me to stay in Edinburgh with these friends of mine so that I could be in an environment that is a bit more loose and a bit more open to ideas that other people aren't. To put it another way, a lot of my friends came straight out of university and went into graduate positions, sort of high-powered 9-to-5 jobs, which I'm not particularly suited for, and me pursuing professional wrestling definitely isn't suited for that. So to be around people that aren't in those 9-to-5 jobs, I think that would really help me sort of be at ease with what I'm trying to do. Because what I'm trying to do is definitely not conducive to, getting people's admiration or being a part of society. And again, I shouldn't care what people think, but I'm being realistic. This is what people will think. They'll think that I'm kind of like wasting my life. I don't really know what I'm doing. The biggest pro with moving to Bristol is that I'd be with my girlfriend, she is pretty open to what I'm trying to do. However, she will want to go into this high-powered 9-to-5 world, which I'm trying my best to avoid, and I feel like that could be a point of difficulty down the line. Essentially, she's trying very hard to be an adult. I'm kind of trying to put off being an adult in a sense. However, moving to Bristol opens up my possibilities for pro wrestling training. I mean, living in the middle of England, you can pretty much travel to any of the surrounding training facilities, whereas in Edinburgh, I'm pretty much locked into the Glasgow Pro Wrestling Asylum. So as I said, those are the two options I have at the minute, and I'm seeing how these sort of fall into place in the next coming months. Obviously, I need to get a job and make money so that I can actually be a bit more flexible with what I do. And in the meantime, I'm going to try and keep up with making videos, making all the types of content I possibly can, and exercising. So no, I'm not training yet. I'm still trying to get there, but it's just a case of all the other factors in my life lining up to actually pursue this. I'm not giving up. I'm getting to 24 years old, but I feel like if I can be in as good a physical condition as I possibly can, then that'll make the transition smooth and hopefully quick once I start. I don't necessarily want to be going into training and not performing for 2 or 3 years. So we will see what the future holds.